This is your year. You finally decided to pull the trigger and go ahead and get those chickens. You go online to order some chicks, but with over 100 breeds of chickens out there, how do you possibly choose which ones to add to your flock? Especially if you're starting out. Coming up, I'm going to share with you my top 5 chicken breeds for the beginning homesteader or backyard flock. And if you stick around to the end, I'll share with you a breed of chicken that I will never have in my flock ever, despite it being really popular in this area. I'll probably take some heat for this choice because the people that do have these chickens tend to really love them, but I'm prepared. It's my list, right? My name is Ginger, and I'm the owner and operator of Dragon Way Farm. My family has been keeping chickens for over 20 years now, and I myself have been responsible for my own personal flock for the last 3. So now that we've established that I do have some idea what I'm talking about on the subject, let's get started. Coming in at number 5 is the Americana. The Americana's claim to fame is the fact that they lay blue eggs. So if you have children, you're probably going to want to add this colorful egg layer to your flock. They're a relatively new breed of chicken. They were bred back in the 1970s here in the United States by crossing a blue egg layer chicken from Chile with a bunch of different chicken breeds here in the US, which resulted in a blue egg laying chicken with a bunch of different colors. And they're beautiful. You can have striped ones. I have quite a few that have all different feather patterns. They're very beautiful birds. They're also a medium-sized bird, strictly for egg laying. You don't really want to breed these specifically for meat, but you can certainly call any extra roosters or anybody that's not laying, and they'll give you some food or for some dog food. But their claim to fame is really for their eggs. They're average layers, so they only lay about 3 or 4 eggs per week. But if you have a few of them in a flock with other more productive breeds, it's a really fun addition. They're very friendly and curious, so they make good pets with the caveat that they're not ones that you're gonna wanna hug and cuddle and all of that stuff. Or you might, but they might not enjoy that as much. This breed is also very hardy, so they do fine in hot climates, and they're also very cold hardy. So all in all, this is a really fun bird, and I highly suggest you add at least 1 or 2 to your flock just for something different. Number 4 on our list is the Leghorn, or Leghorn, however you want to pronounce it. It doesn't normally make it onto the list of beginner-friendly breeds because it tends to be a little bit flightier and doesn't make the best of pets in the world. But in my experience, most people get chickens to have eggs, and these chickens are egg-laying machines. They're a very small bird, almost a bantam size. They're anywhere between like 4 and 6 pounds. And they end up laying a large white egg. And these birds can lay up to 300 eggs per year, years on end. I mean, we're not talking 10 years or anything like that, but where some of your high production hybrids tend to slow down after a year or 2. I've had Leghorns that lay all the way up 3, 4, or 5 years pretty consistently. There's 2 different varieties that are most common here in the United States in my experience, and that's the white Leghorn and the brown Leghorn. I've had both. They're both great. The white Leghorns, it was my understanding that they're the ones used in most commercial white egg production. And to me, when I free range them, their white color just made them targets. I lost a lot to hawks and things like that. But the brown Leghorns, they do great. I highly recommend the brown Leghorns for beginner backyard flock or beginner homesteaders. They don't tend to go broody, so they're great little birds. And they fly really well. So if you happen to let them out, don't be surprised if they end up roosting in trees and you have to chase them back into the coop at night. So that's the one thing that makes them a little bit more difficult to handle. You're never going to want to expect your Leghorn to be a lap chicken. It's just not gonna happen. They're very busy, they prefer to be out foraging, but your Leghorns won't let you down, at least for a few years when it comes to producing eggs for your family. And number 3, the Barred Rock or Barred Plymouth Rock. This is one of the oldest breeds of chicken that comes from the United States. They were bred somewhere in the mid-1800s in Massachusetts. And through my research, I found out that until World War II, The barred rock was the basis of the broiler industry and pretty much single-handedly kept American families in eggs and meat throughout the rationing time of World War II. So these are big birds that have stood the test of time. So if your plans are to butcher birds and also have eggs, this is a great addition. They're also very laid back, easygoing birds that make great pets. If you do handle them as young chicks, barred rocks can make good lap chickens. They don't mind being pet as long as you socialize them. So they're a great addition if you want a family bird. So, which is one of the reasons why they're so popular. They lay a medium to large brown egg, and they lay pretty consistently. They'll probably lay about 4 or 5 eggs per week for you. It'll go for many years. They are a heritage breed. They're also very good foragers, but they're chill enough to take confinement. So if you have to keep your chickens in a run, they'll be just fine. So a very chill chicken. I highly recommend barred rocks. They're also a lot of fun. Number 2 is my own personal favorite breed of chicken, and the chickens that started it all for me in my personal flock, the Buff Orpingtons. Buff Orpingtons are often called the golden retrievers of the chicken world. If you are looking for a family chicken that is going to be a pet, a lap chicken, therapy chicken, whatever, a Buff Orpington is your chicken. From a very young age, these chickens are curious and friendly. They want to be around people, and if you socialize them, it will not take long at all before you have a chicken that is jumping into your lap wanting to be pet. They're just the best. And in addition to that, they are beautiful. The beautiful golden coloring. I can't say enough about the Buff Orpingtons. Like, hands down, they are my favorite chicken, and I recommend them to everyone. They're another dual-purpose breed, so if you are planning on providing your family with meat, a Buff Orpington can do the job, and they often go broody. This is another thing that these chickens are known for. They are phenomenal mothers. Now, not every chicken in your flock is going to go broody, and it's probably not going to happen every year. I've been keeping Buff Orpingtons for 3 years now, and I've had 3 Buff Orpington hens for the last 3 years, and I've only had one that went broody and raised up a flock, but she was an incredible mother. So it's not a guarantee that they're going to be broody, but the chances are this chicken is going to want to start a family, and they're amazing mothers. So they're a very sustainable type of breed. They're pretty consistent layers. They're not going to lay an egg every single day, but you're probably going to get anywhere from 3 to 5 eggs per week, and they're extremely cold hardy and will lay all the way through the winter as long as they're not molting. And yeah, they're great. They lay a medium-sized light brown egg. Sometimes it has a little pinkish hue, so it actually looks really good with the Americana eggs. There you get the pink and the blue, very cute. So I can't say enough good things about them. They're a very hardy breed. But the one thing is, if you do happen to live in a very warm climate, you do have to watch and make sure that they have enough cool water during the summer and shade. And if you're really in the middle of a heat wave, providing a fan in the coop might not be a bad idea, because they do have such dense feathering. They can overheat, but use your judgment with that. But they are really good birds. They're not really prone to a lot of diseases or any issues like that. They're a heritage breed that comes from England. So an all-around wonderful chicken, highly recommend. And now, coming in at number 1, is the most popular breed here in the United States, at least that's what my research said, the Rhode Island Red. So the Rhode Island Red is a dual-purpose breed that comes from Rhode Island, right? They're beautiful red birds, and the hens are usually pretty docile. They're not known for being overly friendly or cuddly, like the Buff Orpingtons, but they're usually not aggressive. They're easy to work with, and they generally get along with other birds pretty well. Being a heritage breed, they're pretty hands-off. They're very low maintenance. They're not really prone to a lot of issues. They're pretty easy to maintain. They're good. They're great foragers, but they can also handle confinement as well. They don't tend to go broody too much, but they can because they're heritage. So just like the leghorns that we mentioned previously, Rhode Island Reds are known for laying a ton of eggs. So they lay about 300 eggs a year. but they lay the brown eggs, and Rhode Island Reds are often one of the foundation breeds for a lot of the hybrid production crosses. So if you're looking for a lot of eggs with a heritage breed chicken that's easy to deal with, a Rhode Island Red might be a good choice for you. One note on the Rhode Island Reds, but the roosters are the main breed that ends up getting used in cockfighting. So the roosters can be aggressive. I do not recommend keeping a Rhode Island Red rooster, though they are extremely beautiful, for a beginner backyard chicken keeper. Before we get to the one breed of chicken that I will never have in my flock ever, I just want to give a little disclaimer first. During the course of this video, I've used the term egg-laying machine or low maintenance, things like that. Chickens are living creatures. They're not machines. So there will be a lot of different factors that are going to determine how many eggs you get per week. So things such as the chicken's age, breed, how happy they are, their stress levels, all kinds of things can affect their egg laying. So I just don't want anyone to get the misconception that they are a set it and forget it type of thing, and that if you add chickens to your family, that you will get a complete steady supply of eggs no matter what. You do need to treat them correctly. You need to treat them with care and understand that there are many factors that go into laying an egg. If your chickens do ever stop laying for any reason, please understand that they have no control over that. Your girls are not mad at you. They're not going on strike. They have zero control over whether or not they lay eggs. It's biology. All right, if you guys have stuck around with me this long, it's time to finally reveal the one breed of chicken that I don't plan to ever have in my flock ever, and that is the Silky Chicken. Silkies are weird freak chickens that come from China. They're known as the fluffy chickens. They kind of look like little aliens. They are known for their soft, silky, fluffy feathers, which makes them fantastic pets. This is a result of the fact that their feathers don't have barbs that hold them down. So instead, their feathers all kind of just go poof. And as they walk along, their feathers just wave, and it's really soft to pet. So for texture-driven people, Silkies are a great choice. But the fact that their feathers are not held down with the barbs means that there's not really a whole lot of insulation that goes on. And I live in New Jersey, where the winters do tend to get relatively cold. It's not horribly cold, but I do need birds that are going to be somewhat cold tolerant, and a Silky is not that at all. In addition to that, I also live in a very wet area, and Silkies and rain and mud just don't mix at all. So for me, a Silky would tend to be a high maintenance bird, and I just don't have time for that or the facilities for that. But these are great birds for anyone that's looking strictly for a pet. They're very small. They usually only weigh about 1 to 3 pounds. They are infrequent layers. So they lay about 2 to 3 eggs per week on average, and they're also a very broody type of chicken. So their egg laying tends to get interrupted. So if you're looking for a chicken that's going to give you a lot of eggs, the Silky is not that. Again, another reason why I don't want it in my flock, despite the fact that they are so cute. But if you are looking to incubate eggs and you don't have an incubator and you want a good mom, a Silky pretty much will fit the bill. All of my research indicates that Silkies make fantastic mothers, and they will incubate absolutely anything that you put under them reliably and several times throughout the year. They're just the born moms. So if you have a use for that, great. If you need a therapy chicken, or if you have children and you're just looking for a pet, a Silky might be a great choice for you. It's just not for me. I don't have children. I don't need any more pets. I don't plan on bringing my chickens inside. So they're quiet birds. They don't fly very well, which also makes another reason why I don't want them in my flock. They sometimes have trouble roosting. They're quiet and trusting by nature, which makes them often get picked on by other birds in the flock if you have a mixed flock, so they tend to be very low on the pecking order. I think these birds genuinely have the potential to be wonderful in the right situation. I know they're just not right for me. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my list or not, or if there's any that I forgot or maybe should consider. Or if you feel compelled to let me know why I'm wrong about Silkies, please just drop a comment below, and we'll see you on the next one.